Okay, so I made a video talking about my story around 3 years ago, so I wanted to update it a bit. The reason being is that my life has recently changed the most it has since I made that video. And I'll get into that later, but in that video I was mostly talking about my childhood and high school situation.
When I was younger, I was one of the brightest kids in my class. I was also really extroverted and I was good at making friends. And then high school started. Through this period, I was having a lot of social stuff and I kept getting more and more uncomfortable at school.
But I didn't speak much about what I was doing then because I was pretty much by myself all day, every day making videos. Also, I was in my last year of high school, which I barely managed to pass with like 15% attendance because I kind of made myself an outcast, and I did sort of explain that.
I kept making and losing friends until I found this friend group.
You call them like troublemakers.
We all did a lot of dumb stuff, like we'd drink, we'd smoke, you know what I mean? Anyway, skip forward a bit. I kept seeing all those friends getting expelled. I was going to therapy. This was all right before lockdown.
All of the friends I did have like left or weren't there anymore, so I basically had no friends, and it was hard to make more because of the way I behaved. And basically the anxiety that I had around going to school was a lot worse. Not that people weren't actually just being nice or inviting, but I had like a paranoid sort of view, so I just thought they all had bad intent. Anyway, in that video I spoke a lot about how much better I was doing.
And then lockdown started, so I had the time to think to myself. I really pushed myself to get better, to start putting effort into my well-being. Anyway, right now it's feeling so much better, like incomparably better.
And to be fair, I was, but I also wasn't challenging myself. Like at that point I was still smoking weed all day, every day, and I wasn't really putting myself in situations to see how much better I was. But the time I spent making videos and analysing every situation ever while going to therapy did help. And the thing I learned was, even though I had changed a lot and I got a lot better in a lot of areas, there were a bunch of new challenges because I had gotten better. And obviously there still are problems that I need to work through, and there always will be, but the problems aren't as bad as they were. Anyway, one of the biggest things that changed in the past year is that I was diagnosed with autism. And that was about 5 months ago, but it didn't change much because it wasn't a shock like every single person ever knew. But at the very least it was confirmation. Another big thing is that I quit weed, which was a long time coming. It'd been like 4 years with some on and off periods of trying to quit. And basically it meant that by the time I did quit, it was a lot easier because I'd worked through a bunch of the issues that made it difficult, like the fear of what it would be like to not have because I'd lived a majority of those years high. It was like it was scary to think about what it would be like without it. Anyway, one of the biggest changes since, and the reason why I felt like I was ready, was the fact that I have a social life now. Like I've got a girlfriend now, which has been going really well, but I've also been going out more and talking to more people and socializing. But that's made it way harder to actually put effort into making content because of how unbalanced my life was. But it has been feeling a lot more balanced as of late, so I'm gonna be making better videos. Woo! Yeah, woohoo. Anyway, that's pretty much it. If you've watched till now, then nice. That's good. Bye now.